Israel utilized a battle laser to shoot down militant rockets. Is it true or false? For the first time in history, Israel is ready to utilize laser technology against rockets launched by Hamas terrorists. On Saturday, October 14th, Israeli war journalist Hillel Ben Rosen posted the following on social media, previously Twitter. Israel is prepared to deploy, for the first time in the world, for operational testing, a laser system that can intercept missiles launched against our country, claimed the columnist. The next day, on October 15th, films reportedly depicting the work of the new Israeli laser weapon, Iron Beam, in Hebrew, Karen Bezel, with which a rocket from the Gaza Strip was intercepted, began to circulate on the internet. It's my first time seeing it. It's known as the Light Shield or the Iron Beam. Israel has announced the technology but has yet to demonstrate it. Serves in this video, we'll study this material in depth and tell you what prospects this new weapon system creates for Israel. A journalist from Israeli state TV station KH11 later tweeted, citing his sources in Israel's secret agency, spoiler alert, there will be surprising outcomes. Scientists and the military have long debated the use of a focused beam of light against targets in the air and on surfaces. It has several appealing characteristics. To begin with, the laser beam hits the target nearly instantaneously. As a result, complicated targeting systems are unnecessary. Simply aim the laser system at the target visually with no modifications for target movement. This also applies to targets that are extremely agile. In any event, the light beam will be static and may be fired like in a shooting gallery. Second, the cost of shooting a laser is expected to be $3 to $4, as opposed to the tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars that any anti-aircraft missile costs, and $3 to $4 is even less than the cost of a cup of coffee at Black Fox Coffee in Lower Manhattan. A crude Qassam missile, which Arab terrorists fire toward Israel and construct on their knees in garages, costs a few $100s. A Tamir anti-aircraft missile from Israel's Iron Dome missile defense system costs roughly $80,000, while a single shot costs the country more than $100,000. That is, for every 100 CMS militants launched, Israel will pay at most $20,000 to defeat them. If laser missile defenses are activated, the cost will be $10 million. This bleak arithmetic for Israel will be drastically altered. Finally, laser missile defenses are more difficult to overwhelm. Now, during the present large-scale Arab-Israeli conflict, we have seen Arab missiles breach the Iron Dome and strike the Israeli cities of Ashdod and Ashkelon, as well as David Ben-Gurion International Airport in Tel Aviv. Although the ability to breach the Iron Dome was fully understood long before these awful occurrences, for example, from November 12th to November 21st, 2019, Israel conducted Operation Black Belt after the Israeli Air Force murdered Baha Abu al-Atta, one of the leaders of the Palestinian terrorist group Islamic Jihad in the Gaza Strip. Approximately 1,300 missiles were fired at Israel throughout the operation. Approximately 80% of the missiles were shot down. Following that, the military anticipated that in the case of a serious battle, Israel would be hit with 1,500 missiles every day. The Iron Dome would be unable to handle such a strain, and the whole missile arsenal would be depleted. In actuality, Hamas launched around 2,200 missiles into Israel from the Gaza Strip on October 7th, 2023. At least 5 persons were murdered as a consequence. In reality, one Iron Dome launcher has 20 Tamir missiles. It takes many hours to reload them after they have been used. During this moment, the sector that the battery guards is effectively unprotected. The laser, on the other hand, shoots continuously and does not need to be recharged. What it does require is an electrical power supply, which is provided by installing a strong generator and enough diesel to feed it. Another benefit of lasers over anti-aircraft missiles: it was discovered that the Iron Dome has difficulty shooting down objects that fly from a distance of less than 4 kilometers, that is, low over the horizon at the moment of the attack. It is not difficult for the laser to reach such things. However, the iron beam does have certain drawbacks. The most important is that any laser system can shoot targets in optimum weather circumstances. Fog or dust significantly limits efficacy. The low range is the second drawback. So far, Iron Beam can hit targets up to 10 kilometers away, but only in clear weather. In 2014, Israel debuted a prototype of the future Iron Beam system at the Expo for the first time. It was a 50 kilowatts generator mounted on a vehicle chassis. It could attack targets from 5 to 7 kilometers away. Developers were always trying to improve the system's power and control efficiency. Iron Beam was adopted for service, although its use has yet to be discovered. The construction of Iron Beam increased considerably in response to the mounting danger of high-precision missiles from Hezbollah and Operation Northern Shield on the border with Lebanon in December 2018. The Armament and Technology Development Directorate, led by Danny Gold, oversees the whole laser weapons project. The scheme will cost several billion shekels, or less than $1 billion. The Iron Beam was successfully tested in the second part of April 2022 by Rafael, the Israeli corporation that developed the famed Iron Dome missile defense system. Although there is no accurate data on the laser installation's features, most experts believe its power was over 100 kilowatts and its target engagement range was up to 10 km. The Iron Beam laser fighting system was showcased in Singapore in early May during the MDX Asia 2023 Expo. Rafael unveiled 2 Iron Beam models there, a land-based model and a ship-based model. The land-based variant is installed on wheeled vehicles and can generate up to 500 kilowatts of laser power. The ship variant, which has a reduced laser output of up to 100 kilowatts, is meant to protect naval objectives from air attacks. As a result, when it was written about the power of 100 to 150 kilowatts, it was evidently about naval modification, or we have to suppose that the Israelis were able to increase the power by 5 times in a year, which is not credible. Rafael released a video demonstrating successful tests of the land-based version of the Iron Beam that took place a year ago. The video shows the laser striking both the drone and the missile's warhead. If the 500 kilowatts figure is right, Israel has surpassed the United States as the world leader in the development of laser weapons. After all, the United States is still talking about a laser power of 300 kilowatts, and while little is known about the degree of advances in this sector in Russia and China, these nations have not proclaimed a laser power of 500 kilowatts. 2 trucks carrying containers housing laser modules are part of the Ken Basel complex. It employs a high-power solid-state laser and a radar station for target detection. The command center is in charge of how the complex's components interact with one another. According to official information, the Israeli army will begin using the Iron Beam in 2024. However, as this occasion approached, it became evident that the cost of a shot would not be the same as the cost of a cup of coffee. When you factor in the cost of all the essential equipment and its amortization, the price rises to $2,000. So going to Black Fox Coffee will still be less expensive. Still, it's 50 times cheaper than a Tamiya shot. The Israeli plan calls for the laser anti-missile system to act in tandem with the Iron Dome. The primary goal of this complex is to destroy ultra-short range items such as missiles, as well as other threats like as artillery rounds and explosives, which are too tiny and quick to be caught by Iron Dome, another component of the missile defense system. So, have the Israelis employed their Ken Basel in real-world combat situations? In light of the increased danger from the air, the Israeli military and scientists have increased their efforts to activate the army's Iron Beam. According to local media, this technology will be formally implemented and tested one day. The false start was made feasible by these broad assumptions, but we should emphasize that there was no official denial of the Iron Beam's work. But why would the Israeli government conceal the usage of the Iron Beam, if only because the tests were a failure? After all, we witnessed two blazing, narrow bolts of light in the amazing footage, but we don't see the target being destroyed. What flare from the explosion, by the way, illuminated the path of additional missiles? There was no explosion, so why make your adversaries happy by failing? It's easy to argue that the Iron Beam was never used, that it was all a journalist's fiction. We may never know the truth, but it is certain that laser weapons are on the verge of becoming a reality, because there is no other option from the standpoint of Israel's military-political system. The Iron Dome anti-missile system's capabilities have been depleted. Laser weapons, unlike cannons and missiles, do not make a loud noise, which is even better. Consider the psychological impact on the adversary. Their rockets will burst one after the other in total stillness. We're confident that such a miracle will arrive soon. What are your thoughts on Israel's laser missile defense weapon? Will it shield Israelis from the rockets of Arab militants? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. If you liked the video, please give us a thumbs up to show your appreciation for our efforts. Please also remember to subscribe to our channel. There will be many more exciting videos regarding modern weapons in the future.